M is for Mason.
G is for Graham.
B for Betcha.
This is the Mgb Wrestling Podcast, the podcast with PG-rated material accessible to wrestling fans of all ages.
My name is Graham Bagshaw, and my co-host and creator of this podcast is proof that wrestling fans live with their parents. My 10-year-old son, Mason. Alright, Mason, this is normally where I ask you what you did this week, except the problem is we're recording this 5 weeks ahead of time. So we've just left Granny's. We're actually on the Isle of Wight now, so this is where you were born. So we're probably looking around there, and I think this is where we're getting ready to leave the Isle of Wight and head towards London, ready to return to England, so we can record episode 21, actually, on American soil. Alright, don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Mgb Wrestling Pod, and you can follow me at Mr. Bagshaw. Also, listen to the other podcasts on the Visionaries Wrestling Network, Ringside Rant on Monday, Caden Nation on Tuesday, Upstate Unplugged on Wednesday, and View from the Top Rope on Thursday. So, in episode 20, Match 1, Birthdays of the Upcoming Week. Match 2, Question and Answer with Mason. Match 3, Are You Smarter Than a Fourth Grader? Match 4, some more questions and answers with Mason. And Match 5, Podcast of the Week. And Match 6, the Challenge of the Week, which we will introduce later. Mason has no idea what this is, so he's going to find out that in a little bit later. We also have memories from myself and Mason again. And we also have memories from TheMattAttackUK. Okay, in Match 1, scheduled for...
1.
We have birthdays of the upcoming week. Alright, Mason, who did you pick for your two people this week?
I picked Brock Lesnar and Lars Sullivan.
Okay.
The one I know more about is Brock Lesnar.
Of course. I like how they're very similar sort of wrestlers in terms of style as well, so that'll be interesting. Yeah, I don't know much about Lars Sullivan, except what I've been watching in NXT the last few weeks, so... Go ahead. I assume you're starting with Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar turns 41 on July 12th, and that's Thursday. Mm-hmm. I did not know he's 41.
I'm going to say, if you look at he's in good physical shape. He could easily pass as 10 years younger. He's done really well. Yeah, I would say, considering I'm in my 40s, I can't even aspire to anything even close to that.
He was in a Webster, South Carolina on a dairy farm when he grew up. And he's a German descent, and he has an older brother named Troy and Chad.
Oh, okay.
He has two other older...
I thought And was his middle name. He had like 3 names. It's one of those double barrel names.
Yeah.
Troy and Chad. I did know he worked on a farm, actually. Because that was one of the things. He used to have to get up. I don't know if it was Paul Heyman who talked about that. But he said he's very goal-orientated. So he would break challenges down into little bits. Like, he knew he had to milk the cows, and he'd focus on that for 1 hour. And then once that was done, he would then think about, okay, now I need to go and whatever the next thing is, get the eggs from the chickens, or whatever it was. But he said he was very focused on little tasks like that.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar wears a size extra large glove.
All right, I was counting. I think that was 4 X's, right?
Yep.
And I don't even know gloves came in sizes like that, but yeah, I'm sure I can't even imagine that. That is very big.
And Lesnar beat Randy Corte for the UFC Heavyweight Championship.
He did, and I know you haven't seen those. I did actually start. I started watching some of those on YouTube because I don't watch UFC. I'm not paying. Well, I've never bought a pay-per-view event like in that style, so I wouldn't do that. I think I've seen a few like at a bar or at other people's houses, but yeah. So I started to watch some of the old ones on there, and he's a beast. I know he has had a few losses since, but yeah, he's definitely a fighter, that's for sure.
Okay, my next one is Lars Sullivan, and he turns 31 on July 6th, and that's a Friday.
Okay, so that's today's episode now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Lars appeared at WrestleMania Access prior to WrestleMania 31, defeating Marcus Louise. Dylan Miley made his NXT debut with Michael Diaz, but had a hard loss to DIY. Lars beat Ricochet and Velveteen Dream in a handicap match, but lost to Adam Cole in a 6-man ladder match for the North American title.
And I'm not sure exactly the date of that match with Velveteen Dream and Ricochet, but they actually had that last week as well, I think it was.
Yeah, I was looking on Wikipedia, and then I didn't know about that match, but then I did this before last week, whenever we did that,
sure.
when you reviewed NXT. And then I was kind of laughing a little bit because I knew one of your moments before without even knowing it.
Ah, of course, because I wasn't, and that wasn't my intention to watch all those. It was just I had a little bit of time because you got home late that day, so I had a chance to watch a few more of those moments ahead of time. And also, I think you learned that Wikipedia might not be the best source for future weeks as well. I have to resort to it as well, but sometimes if it's the only source, then you have to go with it. But there are better places to look for things than that. So that was an important learning experience for. Particularly when you go to high school and you've got to write an essay. They'll often change things on that without you knowing. So once the team's won the Super Bowl or something, they'll often put the winning quarterback is the owner of the other team because they beat the other team. So anyway, something to watch out for the future. This is Graham Bagshaw from the Mgb Wrestling Podcast, and this is my third summer moment. Now, most of the holidays we used to take were on the east coast of England in Lincolnshire. And we used to go around the area that was Mablethorpe, Sutton-on-Sea, and Skegness, although we tended to prefer to stay in Sutton-on-Sea, which was a really quiet place. And then we tend to travel just a few miles up to Mablethorpe because they had a lot more activities to do. And memories I have from there was a lot of sporting things again. I know they had a lot of golf, mini golf, crazy golf, putting, walking along the beach, eating chips or French fries as you call them in America. Just being outside, a quiet place, there was activities to do, and I just remember it being a really fun time. Lots of sounds and lights and fairgrounds and that sort of thing. And just a really good time. I know we took Mason there last year because we actually spent a week on that coast, and this time when we're in England, we're going to try and go across just for one day, and that's hopefully actually going to be my Father's Day present. So by the time this is released, it will probably be a couple of weeks after that. And we want to show Jackson that same sort of thing, but just good family fun, perfect for England, English seaside, and I guess that's my third short memory of summer holidays or vacations. All right, so for our final week then, the first question this time is from Magnets and Steel, and he asks, what is the best thing you've seen in wrestling? So that doesn't necessarily have to be a match. It doesn't have to be a person. It could be something outside the ring. It could be an event. I guess there's a few ways you can interpret this. It could be sportsmanship, perhaps.
Me, I really like the behind the scenes.
Okay.
Like before, like a match, it would be really cool just to go behind the scenes and see what people are planning to do with the match, how they the different sides of them.
Okay.
Like rather from their ring character, I would like to see their real person character.
Oh, you're gonna love watching Divas when you're a little bit older then.
Like I've watched 24 and Ride Along, and they're cool.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. So I was going to ask you then, so possibly it says, what's the best thing that you've seen? So you haven't seen some of those things. That's something that you'd like to see. So things like at the start of Nova Pro, when you actually see them planning their moves, that's something that you really like as well?
And I really like talking to them at the table, because you get to see the different side of them.
That's definitely one of my favourite things. And we talked about this, the interactivity.
Yeah.
Particularly with Nova Pro, where you can interact with the wrestlers.
Because, like, A3... Mm-hmm. Benjamin Banks, when we were sticking the pinkies up, he said, "You're doing it wrong," and then he shouted at us.
I think that was Diamond Griff. I think Diamond Griff was who corrected us on that.
If in real life we got to talk to him, and he would never have done that.
No.
He would have just let it go, and he ended up teaching us how to actually do it, because we just saw that they were sticking their pinkies up. We didn't see the other part.
Yeah, we didn't really know. Because we were too far away at that point. And we didn't know Benjamin at that point. But since we've been talking to him and seen pictures now, we wanted to get in on it.
Yeah, we interviewed him, but he never stuck up the pinky.
We had problems with Skype. We just it was basically more like a phone conversation than a video conversation. So yeah, we didn't quite get to see that. Matt Attack asked, "What's the best looking championship?" Now, I think he's talking about championship belt. Now, I'm going to be honest, I'm not very good with things like that. I don't remember things like that. I've heard them ask this on other podcasts, and I'm always like, I don't even notice, to be honest. The only one I would pick is, I used to like the spinny belt. I think Cena had that for a while. That would be the only one I can really name. I can't name any other ones particularly. Like, some people go, oh, it's like the one that's got the bit of red on there, and it was worn by I don't notice things like that. So what about you? Have you
I haven't seen many of the belts, but I really like the Universal.
Okay.
I like the red with the WWE background.
Okay.
I really like that, and I really like the U.S. I like the U.S. flag on it, and then the WWE United States champion.
And you have some pretend belts.
Yes, I have the United States.
Yeah. And I think we got tag team as well.
Yeah.
Oh, we got one tag team.
Yeah, one tag team, one WWE championship, Intercontinental.
Yeah, so we got a few. The only other belt I can really think of, and we don't watch enough other organizations to know, because I know they'll talk about like Ring of Honor, New Japan. We don't really watch enough of those to. I don't think I could even pick those out unless it says on the name what they are. The only other belt I have seen is James Ellsworth, because he had his own intergender.
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
And I don't know if it talked about it on episode 1 of the Durcast, because I know that was your pick recently. I think he said he spent like $1,000 or something like that making that belt. Or 500 or something like that. But
that's
considering how much it is, but they are. If you buy the ones from WWE, they're expensive. But they said it was probably worth it, because obviously that's part of his job now.
Yeah.
That's how he sells himself. All right, so I think we answered that one. The Blade Job Show want to know, Mason, were you a wrestler and you had the opportunity to go for a tag team title? Who would you choose as your partner out of any wrestler, any time, any promotion? So you can pick anybody you like. And actually, Matt Attack asked a similar question, but Blade Job Show asked it first.
I would like to have Nicholas.
Oh, okay.
He's my age, so that would be a cool thing.
So are we talking about when you guys have grown up, or are we talking about you guys as 10-year-olds?
10-year-olds.
And I can't remember, was he 10 or was he 11? I think he was in 4th grade. Okay, he was
10.
10 as well. Okay, who would you like to come up against then? Because that would be kind of scary if you were facing almost anybody, I think. Who would you... Okay, you can pick your partners then as well. I'm going to change the question. You can pick whoever you'd like to fight against as well. So who are you going to pick? Of course, this is kayfabe anyway, so you can fight whoever you want. You could have Braun Strowman if you want.
Yeah, Braun Strowman and Bobby Lashley.
You could drop kick his knee and take him out, and then once he's on the ground, then it doesn't make any difference anyway.
I would like to... James Ellsworth and you.
James Ellsworth and me. Alright, fair enough. Now, the problem with Nicholas is he didn't actually do anything. He just...
I know.
He stepped into the ring, took a step, and then turned back and tagged. So you're going to get plenty of wrestling action. So that might not be a bad pick for you anyway, then, because you get to be the star of that show. Alright, I think this one was a tough one. I did tell you this ahead of time, and I don't think we mentioned it since. Super Kicking with Kelsey also asked, if you could write a movie or a TV show and pick any wrestler to star in the show, who would you choose to be in it, and what would the movie or TV show be about?
Well, if I had to do a movie, I would like to do it with The Rock, because he's a big wrestler, and he's already done lots of movies, and he has plenty of experiences, so if I trip up, he can teach me how to do it the right way.
And if I remember correctly, he earned more money than any other actor in, I believe it was 2016. I think 2017 was Vin Diesel, who he actually appears with in the Fast and Furious films, so which he was also in. So I think he was second that year. So yes, he's certainly been in some big films, and he would definitely... And just cool to be with a wrestler and an actor at the same time. So yeah, I think that's pretty good. Who would you choose to be in, and what would the movie or TV show be about? Now that's the part that you didn't answer. So you're going to pick The Rock. So is it going to be a movie? Is it going to be a TV show? Is it going to be an action-packed film like The Fast and the Furious? Is it going to be a comedy like Hulk Hogan appeared in a few of those?
I would like to do like a mini wrestling show.
Like a reality show?
Yeah.
Okay.
It would I would like to be in the movie, and it's like wrestlers outside the ring.
Okay.
Doing normal jobs.
Oh, okay.
With they got kicked out of WWE or something, and were finding normal jobs or wrestling in different companies.
Okay, sounds good. So, like a documentary, or is it still scripted?
Scripted.
Oh, okay. All right, fine. All right, let's keep it running then. We'll come into the last ones. If you want to say pass, it's a 10-second penalty. Okay. Okay. We'll go with that one. Okay. So we're going to start with you.
Pass.
All right. So the time was 2.64 seconds. So it was 62.4 seconds then. All right, Mason. I'm going to try and do this one then as well. Okay. I wasn't going to play, and I honestly wasn't going to do for you, so I haven't thought about it. Okay.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to go Umaga. Is that right? Umaga.
That's you, yeah.
Val Venus.
Yeah.
There should be somebody obvious for W, but I can't think right now. were you? I probably spent longer than 10 seconds trying to think of somebody now as well. Oh, William Regal. How about that? So I got X, Y, and Z. X, I got a pass. I don't think there's anybody.
Oh, I know.
There is one?
X-Pac.
Oh, X-Pac. Good call. Y and Z.
Oh, I got one for Z. Zach.
Oh, Zack Ryder. Zack Ryder would be a good one. And then Y. Yokozuna. All right. And that would have been between us about 32 seconds. So it was definitely possible to do that. Actually, we should have done that from the start. We should have done it together.
Yeah, let's
to see what we could have actually come up with.
Let's do it together.
So, all right. So we'll leave the original time going though. So do you want to try doing it together, and then I'll just add it in later, and we'll see how we go. All right. So I'll reset it. So we're going to try this again just to see, but we're going to do it together. We've had a little time to think about it. I haven't really been thinking specifically, but you did say some names, so we'll see what we can come up with together. So it was A to J for the first one.
Yes.
The only rule I'm going to insist on is, though, if we have C as Cena, you can't have J for John Cena.
Okay.
I don't like having the same one twice within the same list, okay? So once you've said one for A, actually, as soon as I got Oscar wrong, I better do the first one, right? All right, so I'm going to start us off then. So A is Oscar.
Braun.
Braun Strowman. C. I can go with Cena then, right? Oh, the D was the one that you were stuck on, though, wasn't it? Dashwood.
Dashwood, yeah.
Elias. Actually, we should do it ones on we didn't have before as well, because otherwise that's too easy, isn't it? All right, so we'll go with that.
Oh, I got one for A, but we can't do F.
I don't care. All right, go ahead. Oops. When you're ready.
Alicia.
Oh, sorry. Hold on. All right. So whenever you're ready.
Alicia.
Alicia. Who's
Fox.
Oh, Alicia Fox. Of course. I'm struggling to think of anything. B. Bundy. See that? I should have probably saved that for another one. C. Carmella.
Cornette.
Okay. Oh, Jim Cornette. Okay. D. Trying to think of Danny Boy Collins. He's a British wrestler. E. No. Oh. I just thought of one for Enzo Amore, good. F. Fit Finley. G. The Great Khali. Great Khali. H.
Hillbilly Jim.
Hillbilly Jim. We already had him. Who else could we have? Hardcore Holly. I. Is it Ishimori? Isn't he Impact? Okay.
Ishimori.
I. And then J.
Double J. Jeff Jarrett.
Perfect. All right. 54 seconds. That was, and actually I started it too early because I messed up when I was recording, so it was actually 3 seconds less than that. So 50.94 is our combined total for that one. Okay. All right. Do you want to try the other one as well? So it was K all the way through T. Okay. So once you've got one for K, I'm gonna push start, and then we'll see. So just tell me when you've thought of one, and then I'll push start.
I thought of one.
Kalisto. All right. So L. Lita. Matt Hardy. But we can't have Nakamura because we already have that one.
Nero.
Oh, Brother Nero. Okay. Oh. I don't remember we had last time for that one.
No.
We had Apollo no last time. Cassius Ohno, sorry, last time. How's this? Oh, that was a really tough letter to do one for.
Penelope for P.
Penelope Ford?
Yeah.
We got an Indy as well? Okay. Q, we kind of cheated on Q, didn't we?
Wait, I'm thinking of O. No, N.
No, we did N.
No, O.
Oh, goodness. O is really difficult, isn't it? We should just take a pass and a 10-second penalty, probably.
Yeah.
Alright, we wasted a lot of time anyway. Q. If we can really think of one for Q anyway.
Harley Quinn. No.
No, I was thinking Harley Race for that one, when you had R earlier. Alright, we'll come back. We'll take a penalty on Q as well. R, Race then. S, Strowman.
Yeah.
Because that was a different one. T, Tennille Dashwood or Tanaka. Isn't that the female one?
Yes.
Something like that. Alright. 117, we took 2 penalties. 137. Alright, is there anybody for O? I'm sure there must be. I just can't think of anybody right now.
Oh, is this recording?
I'm trying to think of a first name for O.
Oh,
And I'm really struggling. I can't really think of any names.
Opera.
Oh. Yeah.
Opus. Opera.
Yeah, I don't know.
Let me go look at my book.
Go and look in your book, and then we'll pause this, and then we'll find out. O and Q were the ones we struggled at, and we can. All right, so Mason looked in his book, and he came back. Apparently, the only one for O that's in his book is One Man Gang.
Yeah.
And there wasn't any for Q, and that's why we're struggling, which is why we went with Queen. Those of you who watch New Japan and Ring of Honor, you might be able to add some of those in as well. But I'm glad we did that. That turned out to be really fun.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Matt Willis from the Matt Attack Predictions Podcast. My story is from when I was about 15 years old. Yeah, I had a group of friends I used to hang around with. They're the ones that got me interesting in the first place. Every Friday night we'd have a little bit of a battle royal in one of their bedrooms. Mum would let us do it at my house, so I had to always do it at theirs. Never a problem for me because it meant I could get out and about some more. Yeah, we would usually end up power bombing each other, suplexing each other onto mattresses and things, backyard stuff. Well, one night we decided to go a bit further with that. We thought we can make this hardcore. So we did. We brought in 2 ladders, a trestle table, some actual metal chairs, and they really hurt. But the worst thing was we had these metal clothes bins, which were in the shape of Coca-Cola cans. Other soft drinks are available. They're about the size of a normal waste bin, let's say. Yeah, but because they were metal, they obviously dented. And a few of those shots to the head of one of my friends actually so dented that his twin brother then hit him in the head of it again, but caught him right in the corner and actually busted him wide open. It was so funny. We were telling him, Scott, we've got to take you to the hospital. You're bleeding badly. He refused to go. The next day we took him down eventually we took him down next day, and he was looked at, and it was determined that he should have gone down last night. He had a concussion. But yeah, the actual injury itself cleared up, and yeah, it's never stopped us wrestling. We are in our 30s now, and we still wrestle. We're not quite as extravagant with some of our spots like we used to be. When being teenagers, you didn't care so much. You didn't care about getting hurt, obviously. But as you get older, it just naturally happens, I suppose. Yeah, so that was my memory from us for your show for the summer. I'm Matt Willis from the Matt Attack Predictions Podcast. Follow me at TheMattAttackUK. Find me on YouTube by searching Matt Attack Podcast. I will see you guys soon. I'm out of here.
Paul Tolley asks, who would Mason like to see get a WWE and a Universal title match before WrestleMania 35? So who are you gonna? You're the promoter right now.
I have some for women's.
Okay.
SmackDown and men's SmackDown,
okay.
men's Raw and men's women's Raw.
Okay.
So for SmackDown men's, I would either have Daniel Bryan or Jeff Hardy, whichever one's available. And SmackDown, first Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan, he hasn't had a title belt in a long time.
He's also injured for over 2 years,
yes.
So that's not really surprising.
Yeah, well,
okay.
And Jeff Hardy, he's by himself. He hasn't been by himself in a long time,
mm-hmm.
and he's taken a big step, and I think he deserves one of the belts.
Okay, so
even though he already has the U.S.
He does have the U.S. title, so that could be like a stepping stone for him. Okay.
Yeah. And SmackDown Women's is Sonya Deville or Becky Lynch.
Okay.
Becky Lynch, she's like one of the most underrated wrestlers. And she really needs a belt and needs a big push. And Sonya Deville, I think she's a good wrestler. I really like her as a wrestler. And Carmella, she would definitely be ahead of Sonya Deville. But Carmella is already the champion. So Sonya Deville would definitely.
And we just recorded episode 13 a few days ago, and I was really surprised they actually gave Becky a chance at Money in the Bank.
Yes.
And I'm trying to figure out exactly when this is coming out. I think this episode comes out just after Money in the Bank's actually come out. So I guess by that time we'll actually know how close. I said at the time, I think Becky deserves a push. Yep. She's definitely she's underappreciated, that's for sure. Yep. And I think she did win the original SmackDown Women's title, but that's a long time ago now. Yeah. I think she deserves more than what she's been given.
It's like everybody forgot about it.
Pretty much. All right, so I think you've done SmackDown for men and women. So Raw.
For men's, Braun Strowman or Elias.
And I'd be happy with both of those
yes.
two. I'm a big fan of Elias.
Braun Strowman, he's like this unstoppable guy, and I like his gimmick. And Elias, he's a good character. I like his song before each match, and I think he really needs a belt so he can so he can play. He can maybe put strings on the belt while he's wrestling.
Oh, that would be cool. That's a really cool idea. I really like that one. I'm just amazed how big he's become. And I don't think he's necessarily had a big push. I think the fans have just accepted him.
Yeah.
In a really short period of time.
Yeah, even when he said London sucks and all that stuff, they still were cheering.
And my coworker at work always talks about that. The fact that he'll basically tell his own fans to shut up.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter. They still love him everywhere.
Yep.
And on the women's side?
This one was really hard. The first one was pretty easy, but the second one, I had to kind of ruffle through the whole Raw roster,
okay.
And I had to pick one that really needs one.
Okay.
And the first one's Stephanie McMahon. She works so hard, people might think that she's just given all the things for her dad being the owner.
Uh-huh.
And no, she really works out a lot, and she worked hard, and I really think she needs a belt.
Okay.
And for Ruby Riott, she needs a push.
Okay.
She's worked hard. She's in the Riot Squad, which isn't that easy to become a star in a tag team and known by yourself. Not
She's
as much
definitely
as
the
known
star
as,
of that group right now.
Yeah, not as known as like Sarah Logan and the other one, Liv Morgan. Yeah, Liv Morgan.
I think that speaks volumes right there.
Yeah, Liv Morgan. Yeah, like they're not as well known as Ruby Riott, and Ruby Riott, she has worked hard.
So those were your two picks?
Yes.
Ruby Riott and Stephanie
Stephanie.
McMahon. Now, there's a hot take if ever I've heard one, because all the stuff that we've been talking about on the podcast, I guess either you forgot about this person or you've changed your mind. I'm saying that's definitely a hot take, picking Ruby Riott and Stephanie McMahon over Ronda Rousey getting a push for the Raw Championship.
Ronda Rousey,
Or is it because you're saving her for... Well, actually, she has a match against Nia Jax anyway, so I guess... So that's why you didn't include her?
I didn't include her because she just had one match in the whole WWE.
Okay.
And she hasn't even earned any of her match
well,
against
the question
Nia.
did say, who would Mason like to see get a WWE match? So,
yeah, but I still don't want to see her.
So you wanted to build up first?
Yeah.
Okay. And then at WrestleMania, you want to see the match?
Yes.
All right, I just wanted to check that that's why you didn't say her name, okay? All right, Magnus and Steele ask, are there any other eras of wrestling you'd like to start watching? So pretty much, if we go back in time, we tend to watch early 2000s because that's when I started watching wrestling. Because I couldn't get WWE when I was in England. I didn't have the package. They're my favorite wrestlers. I like Rock. I like Stone Cold. I like all those guys. What about you? Is there any other eras though you'd like to start watching?
I would like to see like the first few years of WWE, see how much it's changed, and see if it's bad or if it's like a good start.
And we saw some clips. Certainly the documentary of Bruno.
Yeah.
So that was kind of early. I think that was 60s.
Oh.
I've seen some 70s. I wasn't that impressed with some of the 70s stuff, I have to say. Certainly 80s stuff I'd be prepared to watch. Probably the end of the 80s, and certainly some of the 90s I would be prepared to go back as well. We actually watched, once again on the recommendation of World Class Radio, because they picked out some matches for you to watch. Because we actually said this, what matches would they recommend from 80s and 90s? And we watched some WCW from the late 90s. We watched Slamboree, I think it was, and I think we were both just very impressed.
Yes.
And I talked to, once again, my coworker, and he said the same thing. He's like, oh no, they're really good. Did you see this? I was like, yeah, we did see some of that part. So I think that's probably one of the answers to that question. Probably late 90s. I think that'll be our first thing that we'll go to.
I would like to see that, but I've seen some of the matches, but I haven't seen any of the first few years. Really.
And I'm probably right now, if I had a choice between watching late 90s or watching the current product, I would probably want to see that late 90s stuff even more right now. I just thought it was, I was really impressed with what I saw.
I think it should be a pay-per-view right there.
And
it was even better. This regular Raw was even better than a pay-per-view called Backlash.
And it might be biased that we've just seen Backlash as well at that time, but yeah, we will definitely be watching some more of that. And we actually watched the one that they recommended, which was was it Battle Royale? Yeah.
Yes.
And then the winner got to face Chris Jericho, and it turned out to be Dean Malenko and Chris Jericho. Yeah. That was the one that they recommended. And then we went to the end and just watched the main event. And it was Scott Hall and Kevin Nash versus Big Show and Sting.
It was the Giant.
Well, the wrestler who we recognise as the Big Show, correct? And he was called the Giant. And then there was the turn at the end where the Giant turned, and then Sting's asked to join the NWO, and there was so much going on. It was amazing. I really liked it. So I think that would be a good one.
And that's a Raw. That would be like a pay-per-view nowadays.
Well, that was a pay-per-view.
Oh.
That was Slamboree.
Oh, yeah.
So, yeah. But no, even some of the other regular shows around the 2000s, I'm quite happy watching those. And they are kind of like pay-per-view quality in many cases. The question was other eras of wrestling. Any other organizations that you'd like to start watching? At Mr. Bagshaw asks.
I've already seen lots of Impact.
Mm-hmm.
I want to see the few years of New Japan.
I would like to see some New Japan as well. The only thing that I'm a little worried about that is Kelsey did say it's not PG. That would be my only worry about that. I would like to definitely see some more indie wrestling. So I would like to see. We saw one AIW. I'd like to see some more AIW. In terms of other groups we could watch, I know Blade Job just talked about Chikara. That's something I'd like to watch, and I believe pretty close to when this episode is going to come out, we're going to be going to the Reading Phillies, I believe, on July 13th. They have a baseball game. I think tickets are probably about $10, and it's wrestling night. You get to meet King Kong Bundy, get an autograph, free autographs, and you get to watch the match. It looks like there's fireworks afterwards, which I'm not sure how that's going to happen. And then on the field, they're going to have a wrestling match, so you can watch wrestling under the footlights. Now, I've wanted to see outdoor matches for a while. And I saw somebody post one of those recently, and I was like, man, I really want to go and see an outdoor match. I've never seen one. So, yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to, go and see Chikara, and perhaps any independent scenes, to be honest. I really do like independent wrestling. I definitely want to go see some more.
I really wouldn't care. I really wouldn't have cared if it was the worst independent, and we got to see it for free rather than watching WWE for like $1 million.
All right, MattAttackUK asks, what is Mason's go-to match for action from the archives? So, and I don't know if you have one for this, because you don't really have access to that. It's really what I watch. Is there a match that you go back and watch over and over again? Because, for example, I'm thinking the guys from Best Wrestling Podcast. Not Jonathan. I always forget the other guy's name. WrestleMania 17 for him.
Oh.
He says like he watched it 3 times a week, which I'm sure was a joke, but that's one that he goes back to over and over again. So if you had access to your own WWE network, is there something that you go back to over and over again?
But the thing is, as soon as I watch a match, I know what's going to happen next. And I don't really want to see that match over and over again unless it's like a super long match and I will forget bits and bits of it, or if it was like 25 years ago and I totally forgot what happens. But I don't really have one right now.
And I'm with you. I wouldn't want to do that either. I would much rather. There's so much stuff that we haven't seen. Like right now, it's like you can go watch your favorite match right now, or you can go and watch all those Slamborees for every single year. I want to go watch every single Slamboree I haven't seen right now. I'm totally with that as well. I want to be surprised. I like the surprise element. I like the storytelling element of it. I can't think of a single match that I've ever done that with. Probably the only exception is the Big Daddy matches with Jackson, because there's not many on YouTube. So we tend to watch the same, but they all look so similar anyway. And that's not out of choice, that's out of necessity, that there's just a limit on how much of that stuff. The only other one I can think of that I went back to watch was SummerSlam 2000, because that was my first pay-per-view I ever attended, and I want to see if I could find my British flag waving in the crowd, and I didn't find it.
Yeah, we did that with Backlash too.
And we did a little bit, because somebody said that they saw you, so we looked a little bit. We didn't watch much. We actually watched the match at the end, the Punjabi prison match, because we were a long way away, and you couldn't see what was going on inside the ring, so we watched it for that. My only exception also would be Nova Pro for that. We'll often watch it, and then we'll watch it on Powerbomb TV later to see did we miss stuff, or can we see ourselves in the crowd as well. But no, I would agree with you on that one as well.
Okay, the next one I'm going to talk about is Pittsburgh, and I remember seeing the Steelers game, but not much of the Steelers game. I remember I saw Roethlisberger, their quarterback, and Antonio Brown, and it was a postseason game, so they didn't have many stars, and I remember that for a quarter, and that time I wasn't really into NFL, and I'm still not, but at that time, the Steelers, I didn't really... They were kind of my favorite team because that was one of the only ones I've seen, and it was such an atmosphere. Every single football team I go to, it's just such great atmosphere. I remember, going on the boat trip in Pittsburgh, and we went around Pittsburgh, and I remember when the tour guide on the boat, he pointed out one of the buildings was the Inspector Gadget scene. I don't know what scene it was, but he just said that was one of the scenes in Inspector Gadget. And I remember there was the funicular, which that's the English word, but we don't remember the American word. It's like there's this really steep hill, and then they have this little car, and then there's like metal ropes, it looks like, and then it just pulls it up. I remember I was so terrified. I couldn't even look. It was like so scary. And then after we looked on the top of the hill for a little bit, and then we could see the Pittsburgh Stadium, the Pirates Stadium, and it was just, you could see like almost the whole entire Pittsburgh. And I remember I was coming down, and I was still terrified, but after I got off, I wanted to do it again. It was so fun after I realized that I was safe. And I remember going to the Pirates game, but I only remember going. We got a flag that had a pirate on it, and we got a magnet for Jackson. And I remember the racing pierogies. That's all I remember about it.
Match 5, Podcast of the Week. Now, for week 20, I'm picking Midnight Jury, and I've got the Squared Circle Sound Off, episode 79, featuring Ed Dow and Bo Crockett. Now, I couldn't find specific stuff in terms of reviews for this one because it's part of the Midnight Jury network by the look of it. But I know the Squared Circle Sound Off people feature things with Nova Pro. And Ed is the leader of the 1%, the gated community. And Bo Crockett is one of the wrestlers who wrestles at Nova Pro. Now, this episode was released on May the 4th, just before the Thread of Joy, I'm going to say pay-per-view, I guess event. And they tend to do feature Nova Pro people, which is one of the reasons why it appeals so much to me. And the previous episode before that, episode 78, was with Machiko, who was actually at, I believe it was the Sink or Swim. I think it was the one after that. I think it was the Ripper to Shreds, where all the female wrestlers were there. And also episode 75 featured Jackson Stone as well, who's also been at Nova Pro quite a lot recently as well. So that's my recommendation for this week, particularly for Nova Pro fans. Go check out the Squared Circle Sound Off. You have to search for Midnight Jury on iTunes, and that should take you there. And go check out those episodes and certainly some of the other episodes as well.
Alright, let's see how it goes. Yes, he's seen that Skype's on the bottom because I can't delete it. I can't minimize it totally, so he's seen that Skype's there. That's fine. Alright, Mason, so this is episode 20 right now. We're recording this several weeks in advance. This will actually be our third episode. This will be our third summer episode. So by that time, we will have spent a week at Butlins. We will have spent a week in Cornwall. We will have spent a few days on the Isle of Wight. And we'll sort of be leaving the Isle of Wight, and it'll be the last few days of our trip. I think that's pretty accurate. Yeah, in fact, actually, this is the Friday. Oh. We'll be leaving the Isle of Wight on that Friday. So, all right, so we've got a special guest for you, and I actually posted this on Twitter. We actually have a challenge for you. So, all right, mystery person on Skype, would you like to announce who you are, and would you like to tell us what your challenge is for the podcast?
Yeah, Mason, I've got a word to have with you, mate.
I can just tell it's Matt.
It is. It's TheMattAttackUK, who's been our guest a couple of times. So, yep. All right, Matt, go ahead. Tell us what you want to do. Tell us what your challenge is.
You've beaten me 3 times in a row, and I'm not happy about that. So, since I am now part of the Visionaries Wrestling Network, I figured it's time you come to my neck of the woods. I'm challenging you to a double top, double tap challenge.
I don't even know what that is.
Let me explain.
I like the name, though.
Let me explain.
Yeah.
Double top was my nickname when I used to backyard wrestle because of my darts background.
Ah.
Double tap is the challenge I gave to people, and nobody's ever won it. So I'm calling you out for a double tap challenge. The rules are simple. You get 5 attempts to make me tap. I'm not allowed to counter. I'm not allowed to do anything to get out of it, but you have 30 seconds with each attempt to make me tap. And if you win, I'm shaving my head off.
Now, Matt asked if you didn't get to make him tap, could we shave your hair off? And I said, there's no way on that one. Mommy would absolutely kill me if we did that. So basically, you've got to start thinking about submission moves.
Okay.
So you've got to put Matt in a submission move. You got 30 seconds to try each one. We also said he can try the same one more than once, right?
Absolutely.
So during your 5 attempts, if you want to do the same one, like if you don't think you've got it quite locked in right, then you can try it again, or you can just go for something totally different. So, not that I'm trying to put ideas in your head, but you could go for like a leg lock for one, you could go for like a sleeper move or something, bank statement, or whatever you want to do. So you can mix it up as much as you like. And I think we're gonna, well, I'm gonna say, so we said this was on the Friday, so we're actually coming to visit you that Friday. So I think we'll actually arrive in your town. I'm not sure exactly when. I think it's either Friday afternoon or Friday evening. But definitely on the Saturday we'll be there. And then actually we'll be flying back to England within a few days. So we'll actually be able to post the results of this on episode 21. So it'll be a pretty quick turnover for people to see how it actually goes. So I guess the question is, are you taking the challenge, Mason?
Yeah.
He's got a really big smile on his face right now, Matt. I thought he would like this, because I'm gonna say he has to tone it back when he wrestles with his brother, obviously, even though he's not supposed to wrestle at all, but it's kind of a lot more gentle, so.
Well, for the first time, he's allowed to go full hog.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, there's no restrictions at all. He asked, did I want to ask Mommy, and I said, I think that's fine. I didn't even ask her, but I think that'll be fine. So, so we've got to, I don't know, have you got any ideas for what you want to wear for this? Have you got any special wrestling attire you're going to wear? Like, I know you got some wrestling shirts, or are you going to get a singlet for this, or?
What am I going to wear for it?
I'll bring a rubber band so I can wrap it around his neck.
I don't think this is not a hardcore, well, we didn't specify that. I don't think this is a hardcore match. I don't think you can, like, hit him with a chair or anything. It's got to be a submission move, right? He's trying to bend the rules already on Matt. You see how competitive it is, right?
Yeah, you've never seen me compete.
So, no, you can't use any tools. You can't bring some rope and try and choke him or anything like that. But
I draw a line using foreign objects.
there we go. All right, I think that's all the rules set up. So, like I say, we're going to add this in episode 20, and then you'll be able to see the results and hear the results. We'll talk about it in 21, but I know we can film this. I know Matt's got a video channel. I still have my YouTube channel set up. Not that I really use it very much, but we can certainly post so people can see what actually happened with regards to that.
Absolutely.
It's goodbye from me.
And it's goodbye from him.
Goodbye.
The music was Zigzag by Kevin MacLeod at incompetech.com, licensed under Creative Commons by Attribution 3.0, http://creativecommons.org/licenses/by/3.0/.